Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce presents the Bowie Business Journal, a program designed to keep our community informed about important business and economic issues.
Hi, welcome to Bowie Business Journal. I'm Cindy Freland, host and co-producer. Our show today is about care for the elderly, and I'd like to introduce my two guests, Rosemary Allender.
Hello.
And Shelton of Heartfield's Assisted Living in Bowie. Thank you, Rosemary, for coming, and thank you, Ann.
You're welcome.
Rosemary, can you tell us a little bit about what your title is and what you do at Heartfield's, please?
I actually don't work at Heartfield's.
Oh.
I'm a geriatric care manager, and I own my own geriatric care management company here in Bowie.
Okay.
And I work with seniors and their families as they're going through the aging process. Mm-hmm. We do assessments in their homes of how they're doing, what kind of help they might need, and then we do a safety check of their home as well, and check them cognitively, physically, emotionally, how their finances are, just whatever aspects of their life that are involved, and then meet with them and their families and talk about what needs to be done to help them stay in their homes, hopefully as long as possible. That's our goal as care managers, is to keep them in their homes. And if not, then what kind of service we need to do outside the home, possibly placement in a facility. Mm-hmm. And there are 3 of us in the company, and I'm doing it for 7 years.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. What about you, Ann? What's your title at Heartfield's, and what do you do?
I'm the sales counselor's marketing director, and what I do is I am the point of contact for referrals for families who come in. I may get calls or emails or walk-ins from individuals in the community who want to tour our facility, and that's what I do. I just tell them about us and give them a tour. Of course, the first thing I do is find out what their needs are, which are very similar to what Rosemary does. And once we've established what their needs are, I see how Heartfield's can fit for them.
Okay, now this is a residence.
This is a residence. Okay. It's an assisted living home. We have 2 components. We have our assisted living area, and we have a memory care unit, which is a secured unit for those individuals with cognitive memory issues that really need to be in a safe environment.
Okay, and you have nurses available
if
needed?
Yeah,
okay.
We have on-site nursing 24/7. One of the benefits of our community is that residents are able to maintain the relationships with their own physicians in the community. We have physical therapy services. And what we try to do is make them as comfortable as possible so that it does become their home, since they've had to give up their home. We want them to feel like Heartfield's is theirs.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now, Rosemary, you said you started your business about 7 years ago. What made you decide to do that?
Oh my goodness. I've been working with seniors and their families about 25 years.
Wow.
I graduated from Catholic University with a master's in social work. And my initial job was working at the National Rehabilitation Hospital. And I was assigned to people that had strokes, diabetes, mostly senior population. And I fell in love with working with their families as they try to adjust back to, oh no, now mom's going to come home and they can't do it, maybe what they could before. And how are we going to have them be able to come back home? Can they come back home? And so I've just been doing that for years. I've worked at a assisted living facility, I've worked at adult daycare center, continuing care community, so I've kind of the whole gamut, nursing home. And I just found that doing that, you got snapshots of people's moments, and then they're gone. And you don't know whatever happened to them. You have no chance to follow up with them. You don't know if what you suggested worked or not. So finally I just said, I really want to have more time and do it right with people. And that's what care managers do. We start from the beginning and we work through to the end of their lives more often with them. And you really get to know the families and the seniors much better. And you can be very intimately involved or just as needed. But that's what got me involved, is being able to go from point A to point B and being involved in that aspect of it.
Okay, thank you. And what made you decide to work with Heartfields, get into that field?
It was a process of, I guess, evolution. As I aged,
Yes, we do.
I worked in hospitals to begin with, and then I became really interested in the emergency room aspect. I developed a real knack for working with the elderly, but also working with individuals who had chemical dependency issues. So I spent some time working in that area. And at the hospital, I met many individuals in skilled nursing facility and assisted living homes. And I just came one day to meet with Lisa Lepeda at Heartfields, and she wooed me very quickly, just walking around the community, fell in love with it. And a lot like Rosemary, where you do maintain contact with families and the residents. It's a lot, I think it's more satisfying than that snap, I do this, and I used to put a file away, and when I put that file away, that was it. I probably would never hear from them again. So it's a lot more personal. Of course, it's a lot of involvement and emotional involvement, but it's worth it because they're real people and they get what they need, I hope.
Right. So you, refresh my memory, you are a registered nurse.
I'm not. My background is medical social work, and
okay.
I have a degree in administration. I've worked a lot with Rosemary over the years, utilizing her service. Can you go check somebody? Referring people to her, and she also has referred clients to us. So that's been really helpful. So we've been on the same wavelength for quite some time. She also does seminars at Heartfields once in a while.
Okay, great, great. Now, that's my next question. What kind of events? Do you ever have any events in your location, Rosemary?
We are actually, if I did an open house, I have to do it by appointment only. It's a small office because we mostly are out in the community. So we have a small office here in Bowie, but we actually are out in the community most of the time with our residents and with our clients and their families. So events, we actually do things at different facilities. We have held our own caregiver education classes. I have one woman who focuses on doing marketing and caregiver education development for us. And we go out to the community and do those kinds of things as well. And I go to health fairs, wherever I can talk up about geriatric care management, that's what I do, because people don't know about us.
Okay, so caregiver education programs is what you have. And if anyone who is watching today is interested in contacting either Rosemary, myself, or Ann, the credits will be at the end of the show, and we'll have all the contact information there for you to take a look at. And what about you, Ann? What about events in your location?
We do have special events occasionally, but first I want to put in a plug for Rosemary. She has a Alzheimer's support group at the Senior Center.
Very good.
And so that's fantastic for the members in the community. At Heartfields, we do educational events. We had a financial planning event. We also have Bird and Bird will come once in a while and provide some legal advice. We have a support group for the members, family members in our community, and we're starting a caregiver support group, and we're calling it the Giver's Gift.
Okay.
It is for those individuals in the community we're talking to right now who need some support, who need some education, and so I'm excited about that. It'll be on the fourth Monday of every month.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. I know that you have I practically live across the street. I live in the Whitehall section, so I'm practically within walking distance of Heartfields. So when I drive by there quite often, and I notice that you have the come in and visit us sign and take a look, and it's a beautiful facility. If you haven't seen it, please go take a look and visit. And also I noticed that you have, sometimes you have the lemonade, come have a cup of lemonade with us and visit during the summer. So I haven't done that yet, but I hope to do that soon.
Absolutely. Their food is very good, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Our cold lemonade and sweet tea is awesome.
When do you usually have that event?
Actually, it's an ongoing event. We start it when it gets really hot, like in June.
Okay.
We're having a summer event to kick off summer, and then we'll continue having that. And right now, of course, we're celebrating Nurses Week, and also every day is Mother's Day at Heartfield's.
Oh,
So the
okay.
banners are out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Yeah. Mother's Day is coming up this Sunday, and and I can hear the rain crashing down on
Yes.
the roof right now. I almost wore boots today because it was so cold,
Yeah,
and here we are in
it is.
May.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
So hopefully summer will be right around the corner soon.
Yeah.
So what about the Chamber of Commerce? Are either of you members? Are you, Ann, a member of the Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Bowie Chamber?
I am. We have been members, I believe, since Heartfield's opened 13 years ago. And it's been really wonderful in the sense that the chamber members have really welcomed Heartfield's to the community. We have a lot of involvement as far as the networking events. We're able to host those. The website on the Bowie Chamber actually is like the greatest free advertising you'll ever find. We've actually been entrusted with the care of many individuals, moms and dads who are members of the Chamber of Commerce. And I don't think you can get much better compliment than that, than to have them come in and see us.
That's great.
So yes, I think it's a wonderful family, the way everybody supports each other. And we also can host events at our place, and we have one in August, coming up in August.
Oh, really? Okay, good. Because I think I went to one last year at your facility.
That was great fun.
Yeah, and of course the great food.
Yeah.
And Rosemary, you said you are not a member, but hopefully you will think about joining the chamber. Are you a member of any chambers at all?
No, I'm a member of the National Association of Professional Geriatric Care Managers, which is the national umbrella for our profession.
Okay.
I'm part of the Prince George's County Senior Providers Network, which also Ann is, and it's a group of seniors that work with seniors almost exclusively. We meet once a month. We have educational events, and then we also have a networking each month. But I'm not a member. They've been talking to me for a while about it, and I know it's a small individual business. Cost you pick and choose.
Yeah.
Right.
But I know that they are definitely worth the money at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a member for 16 years,
Yeah.
and I'm on the board of directors for the chamber now. But it does help. It does help out
it
quite
does.
a bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
because Bowie is a large community, and
It
there are quite a few
absolutely is.
businesses. But it also helps to spread the word outward as well, beyond Bowie borders, because there are members of the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce that aren't just in Bowie, but
Right.
they're in Upper Marlboro and Laurel, Anne Arundel County. And Anne Arundel County has actually 7 chambers of commerce.
Wow.
7
I didn't realize
chambers of
that.
commerce in Anne Arundel County.
Wow.
So that is a lot.
Yeah.
And then we have the BWCC, which is Baltimore Washington Chamber of Commerce. We have Prince George's County. We have Maryland. We have so many chambers of commerce now that we can access and help to build our businesses. And the main key to doing that and building your business is to attend the events and then follow up with everyone that you meet, because you can't just attend one event and think that's going to help, because it doesn't. You have to build relationships with people.
Right.
They want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And what better way to build a relationship is to continually see your face. You have to see each other's faces and get to know them, talk to them, and just follow up. So, okay, so I'd like to move on to the topic of today, our seniors, the care for our elderly. And I'd like to start off by saying that I wrote an article for Bowie Patch. And if you aren't familiar with Bowie Patch, it's bowiepatch.com. And you can be a writer, you can be a blogger for this, for the website. And I'm a blogger, and I blogged on my dad's 85th birthday, which was April 17th.
Oh, wow.
And I blogged a post about the scare that we had with him the Friday before Easter, because he was on a medication for dementia. And I'm not going to mention what the medication was, but the medication caused his heart rate to be as low as 26.
My goodness.
He was
Did he pass out?
he thought about, he told my mom that he felt like he couldn't move.
Yeah.
And so she called the ambulance. She got him to lay down on the couch, and she called the ambulance, and the ambulance came within just a few minutes and took him to Bowie Emergency Center. And then a few hours later, they transported him to Anne Arundel County Medical Center, where he stayed overnight, Saturday night, the day before Easter. So, or Friday night, and then he was able to go home Saturday, the day before Easter. So, but the post that I wrote was an eye-opener because it told the story of my dad and how scared I was because I wasn't sure if he was going to make it to his 85th birthday. So, and I had written a private book that I self-published, and it was about my dad. And it has, since he does have dementia, and he also has Parkinson's, and I'm not sure if our folks at home realize what dementia can do, and I don't really know a whole lot about it, but it affects your memory. So he repeats himself quite a bit, and I was really scared that we were going to lose him, that he wasn't going to make it to his 85th birthday. So I made him this book, and I gave it to him on his birthday. And to help him remember us, it has a lot of pictures, and it has the dates, it has when he was born, his siblings, all of my kids, all of my brother's kids, you know, all the pictures, my sisters and my mom, how he met my mom. So I've been told that my mom says that he reads the book quite often and refreshes his memory. And I ask him pretty often when I go to visit, and I try to go visit. They're here in Grady's Walk, which I'm very fortunate to have them with us so close that I try to go at least once a month and visit. And I ask him about dates and names, and he says, I can't really remember. I said, Dad, you have a book. Look it up in your book. You have a book. But anyway, I'm kind of getting off the subject here now, but the blog also includes how to help your elderly parents. And anyone can look at this article, this blog. It's on bowiepatch.com, and it's called Oldies But Goodies, Cherish Your Elderly Parents. Okay, and it tells a little bit about the story about what I just told you about my dad going to the hospital, but it also tells you a little bit about how to care for them. For example, if they would like to stay in their home, which Rosemary, you try to help them with that. Try to get someone, if it's a dual level house and they're sleeping upstairs and showering, bathing upstairs, try to get family members or construction crew to do a little bit of construction on the house. In other words, my brother helped with building a shower on the lower level. They helped move all the furniture down from the bedroom downstairs to the lower level. And this was that weekend, Easter weekend, that we helped my parents move from their upper level down to the lower level. So that is just one thing. The bars on in the shower and the bars to help in the bathroom. Raised toilet seats, all kinds of stuff. Facebook classes. There are Facebook workshops for the elderly, the seniors at the Bowie Senior Center. So those really help to keep your mind active, keep in touch with family members. So those are just a few things. Rosemary, can you add to that?
Oh my goodness, I can actually. I think with the dementia, I don't know if he has, what type of dementia he has, if it's Alzheimer's, some other type of dementia. There's just like 50 different types of dementia, so I don't know which one your dad has. But some of them are progressive, and some of them are, in the case of Alzheimer's, it's a fatal disease. So you have to plan for down the road. So the physical aspects of the home are important, but while your dad still has the ability to have some memory and still be able to participate, you want to make sure that he has the legal things in place, the powers of attorney in place, and you want to make sure that the wills have been looked at, because often it's a couple, they have each other as their executors, and you need to change that. It's just one thing you need to think about as well, but also just a physical layout of the home and the routine that they do every day. What do they do on a routine basis? Example is, I had one client here in the Bowie area, wanted to do an assessment, and I'm looking around, and they had a ceiling fan over top of the dining room table. I'm looking around, I don't see a light switch anywhere. And I said to the elderly woman, I said, how do you turn that on? Because it was on. She says, oh, every morning I do this. She gets up on the chair, starts to climb onto the tiny room table, and the family just about fainted. They had no idea how their mom was doing that every day. And then that night she would climb back up there, pull this little string, pull this little thing, and then back down. I mean, but nobody thought about how that was happening.
Right.
That fan was on, but how was it on? Okay, so things like that functionally, how is your mom and dad working in their home, surviving in their home? How is the kitchen laid out? In case of someone with dementia, as it advances, they may mistake poisons for edible things. So keep those kind of things either on high shelves or locked up underneath. So safety issues like that. Contrasting colors in bathrooms so that he can easily find the commode versus other things in the bathroom.
Okay.
So dark and light colors, some of that. There's so many things to do, but remote controls. Or the dreaded the medicine sorters. I had one client who thought, oh, I just come over every weekend, I fill it all up for Dad and come back next week and I fill it up. I said, is he taking them right? Oh yeah, I come back and it's empty the next week. I said, did he eat the first day? Take it the first day? So the middle of the week she shows up and at Wednesday all of his pills are gone.
Oh no.
So as caregivers you need to think about these things. It appears obvious that these things are working well, but you need to spot check. I do that a lot with families. I just go in, I don't show up, and I just don't announce myself, just come on over. And what are they doing? Is a caregiver in the home that's helping out that's hired, are they doing what they're supposed to be doing? So those planned once a month visits are nice, or a 10-minute conversation, they sound great, but then in reality they can keep it together for those 10-minute conversations, but then in the end it may not be working at all for them. So there's a lot you can do.
I never thought about the pills and taking them all in one day.
Yeah. And mirrors are another problem for seniors with dementia. They don't recognize themselves after a while.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a lot of things you can do.
Wow. Thank you, Rosemary. What
Sure.
about you, Anne? Can you add anything to that?
I think the idea of having a regular routine really helps.
Okay.
In our memory care unit, they have a very specific routine. They have music that is played for mealtime. They have morning exercise, and that's important because that structure is helpful for the daytime, and then they're more likely to sleep at night, which is always a goal for the caregivers. And I also think about, what does a caregiver do? Understanding and being able to cope with someone who has dementia, Alzheimer's, is really great until you find out that your mom has it or your dad has it. And for me, it was my mom. When I went out to Ohio to take care of her, after about 24 hours, I knew that there was no way she could remain in her home and would probably drive my sister crazy. So, you know, there's some golden rules about that. Keep a routine. Don't argue with them.
Never win.
If you'll never win. And if they say, Dad's coming to pick me up or I'm going home after school, just say, well, okay, well, I know you go home after school, but right now we need to eat lunch.
Right. Okay.
And just things like that. That's why we're starting, and we have the caregiver support group, the Giver's Gift, because the knowledge is out there, the information is out there, but when you start putting it into practice yourself, it's always nice to have some good reinforcement and repetition. And the key is to take care of yourself.
And the support groups are wonderful. I've been doing the one in Bowie for maybe 12 years. I have one during the day and then another one in the evening for people that work during the day. But they learn so much from each other. Like, why reinvent the wheel? So you have someone who's been caring for their mom or dad for many, many years, versus a new person coming who's just had their loved one diagnosed. And they can learn ahead of time to not make the same mistakes. And the support they get from each other is just amazing.
The buddy
they
system.
just are wonderful with each other. So I definitely recommend support groups for caregivers.
Okay, great. Thank you. Now, you reminded me of the ladder that I gave my mom for Christmas, a step ladder, because I found out that she was trying to do something on a chair and she fell. And this was just maybe about a year ago. And she is so stubborn. Sorry, Mom, I love you to death. I love you too, Dad. But she is very stubborn.
Yes.
She, up until a couple of years ago, she was still climbing on her roof. and doing things. So, and she's 83.
Yeah.
So, stop that, Mom.
People with dementia don't realize their limitations.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
They think that they can still do it. Yeah.
Right. Well, she's very determined. She's very independent, and that's where I get a lot of mine from. But and I thank my parents for everything that they've given me. But there are limits, as you said, Rosemary. You just have to be careful. You have to care for yourself. I mean, she's fallen in the garden, and she loves to continue working in the garden, and they have a gorgeous garden, and my dad helps a lot with that too.
That's good.
And she helps clean. She cleans her house, her entire house, and hopefully she'll go by the promise that she made to my brother and not go back upstairs, because she promised that she would not go upstairs anymore, since everything is downstairs now.
And the one thing that Ann mentioned is really a challenge is taking care of yourself. That means getting out of the house and away from each other. A lot of times when it's a couple, they kind of get joined at the hip.
Right.
And then the caregiver loses their other social life. They get so involved in caring for their spouse that their other friends kind of fall by the wayside because they're not making those contacts anymore. So you need to definitely make plans for yourself. If you're a caregiver and watching this, to make plans for yourself to get out maybe once a week and just say, you know, I'm going to, on Tuesdays at 11, I'm going to go for coffee with a friend or whatever, and go out and get away.
Right.
And don't use that hour to do all those other things that you need to get done, but take that hour for yourself.
Right.
And people will help. If you tell people specifically this task and this time limit, people will show up. Don't just say, when you get a chance, could you just come on over? Oh, we'll help. But they need to know what they're doing and for how long.
Right.
If you put those limits on coming in, caring, and helping out, people will do it. But just whenever you can get a chance, they're not going to show up.
Right. Yeah, you need to make appointments with family members or friends,
exactly.
even if it's just like for 30 minutes to come over and watch. Right.
Yep, exactly.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, Ann?
I think the options of having family members help is really great, but there are times when you actually need a private duty agency.
Right.
And we're really fortunate in Bowie to have a number of agencies who can provide private duty. Some of them are medical model, others are just caregiver models that just accompany someone, maybe make sure mom has lunch because it's in the refrigerator. I don't know whether she's going to eat it or not.
Right.
I'm at work all day. Maybe come in and help with a shower, but you can sort of know that's your little piece of quiet time for yourself that you don't have to worry about it because you know someone's there keeping an eye. So building upon whatever's there, and also the daycare programs that are available.
Daycare's wonderful.
In the community.
Okay, thank you both. Rosemary, thank you, Ann. I'd like to pass out our little stars here, and we need to wrap up a little bit. And these are from Heartfield's, and just to remind everyone that our elderly and our seniors are stars in our community.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Cindy Freland, Bowie Business Journal.
Thank you.